Hi, welcome back, and we are going to learn about the next set of angle pairs. They are corresponding angles, alternative interior angles, alternative exterior, and same side interior. So before understanding what all this type of angles, we have one special word to understand, that is known as transversal line. So transversal line, what is mean by a transversal line? So here the transversal line means a line that intersect two or more coplanar lines at a distinct point. So transversal line is a line that cuts two or more line at a different point. So in the diagram we have three lines are here, so T, L and M. Here T is the transversal line because this T intersect L and M at two different points. So T is the transversal line. So when those transversal line intersect with those two lines, we can see that the eight angles are formed. So eight angles. So in between these two lines, the interior, so they are the interior angles, so 4, 3 and 5 and 6. Outside those two lines, they are the exterior angles, so 1, 2 and 8, 7 are the exterior angles. So those 8 angles can be categorized into 4 different groups of angle pairs. So they are known as the corresponding alternative interior, alternative exterior and same side interior. How do they name it? The first part of the line names alternative, and same side. That part is based on the transversal line. So these words will show you on which side of the transversal line is the angle. And the next one, that interior, exterior, and interior. So that shows on the location of the angle based on the other two lines. The fourth one is the corresponding angle. The corresponding angles means the angle there on the corresponding side, or we can say at the location. So let's look at how they are categorized. The first one is alternative interior. I said that this first word alternative depends on based on the location of the angles about the transversal line. So the alternative interior angle, they are non-adjacent interior. So the angle should be inside these two lines. So interior, so angle should be inside that two lines, and lies on the opposite side of the transversal. They are opposite side of the transversal. Though they should not be adjacent. You cannot have be 4 and 3, but they should be opposite side of the adjacent, just like here angle 4 and angle 6. They are on the both side of the transversal line, and at the same time they are interior. So angle 4 and angle 6 are the alternative interior angle. The same way the angle 3, here is the angle 3 and angle 5 are also alternative interior because they are on the both side of the transversal line. They are on the both side of the transversal line. At the same time they are inside the two lines. So they are alternative interior. The next one is same side interior. So it means the both angles should be inside this two line and also the same side of the transversal line. So the angle should be on the same side of the transversal line and inside those two lines. So which are the angles? So the angles are here, they are inside those two lines. Same time they are the same side. So we can say they are the same side of the transversal. So the angles are 4 and 5. They are same side interior angle, and also angle 6 and angle 3. Angle 6 and angle 3 are the same side interior. So another word for the same side interior is consecutive angle. So another name for the same side interior angle is the consecutive angles. The third one is the corresponding angle. So corresponding angle means they are on the same location, the corresponding position. It's easy to remember in that way. Just assume that these four lines are a street. They are the street. So the street L, street M, and the street T. And if this is a street and 2 is a building, we could say that this 2 is on the northeast side. And also the angle, this building's number 6 is also northeast of those two streets. So angle 2 and angle 3 are corresponding angle because they are in the same location or same position. The same way if you think about angle 3 and angle 7. So angle 3 is here. Let me write angle 3 based on the street. So this is the south of this street and east of this street. So this is a southeast location. If you look at the 7, that is also southeast location. So angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding angle. So when you look at the next two pairs of corresponding angle, that means angle 1 and angle 5. So angle 1 is on the northwest side. So angle 1 is on the northwest. The second angle is on the northwest is 5. So angle 1 and angle 5 are the corresponding. Angle 4 is southwest and 8 is also southwest. So those 4 and 8 are the corresponding angles. So there are 4 pairs of the corresponding angles. So corresponding angle means they are on the same location based on the transversal and other two sides. The fourth one is alternative exterior angle. So since they are exterior, those angles should be outside of these two lines, and alternative means on both sides of the transversal line. But they should not be adjacent. It cannot be 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 is adjacent. So they should not be adjacent, but they should be on the both side and outside those two lines. So the first one is, if you look at angle 1, if you take the angle 1, this is the outside angle, exterior angle. The next exterior angle on the other side of the transversal is 7. So angle 1 and angle 7 are alternative exterior. If you look at the angle 8, 8 is on this side, and the other angle alternative exterior is angle 2. So angle 2 and angle 8 are alternative exterior angles. Now I hope you have some kind of idea what all those 4 different types of angle pairs. So those angle pairs formed when the transversal crossing a 2 line, the 8 angles are formed. So those 8 angles can be categorized as pairs of you can categorize the pairs of angles in 4 groups. So let us do one question here. Now you have learned 4 different types of angle pairs are formed by a transversal line. So here is the question. You need to identify all 4 type of angle pairs from this question. So the first one is alternative interior. One more thing. When you have this type of question, first to identify which one is the transversal line. So transversal line means we have learned that a line that intersect 2 or more lines at different points. So this is the transversal line because this line intersect or cut through other 2 lines at 2 different points here. So this is the transversal line. The first one is we need to identify alternative interior. I have mentioned that the first word is based on the transversal and the second word is based on the other 2 lines. So alternative means on the both side of the transversal line, but they should not be adjacent. So just example, 1 and 7 are not alternative because they are adjacent, but 7 and 5 are alternative because one is on the bottom here and one is on the top. At the same time, they are not adjacent. We need alternative interior. That means on both sides of the transversal and inside these two lines. So basically, they are talking about these four angles. So if I take angle 2, the alternative interior angle of 2 is not 8, it should be 3. So 8 is adjacent, so the angle on the other side of the transversal is 8 and 3, but 3 is the non-adjacent one. So measure of angle 3. So angle 2 and angle 3 are the alternative interior. The next one is, you obviously notice that angle 8 and angle 6 are the next pair. The next one is same side interior. Let me write the answer here. Same side interior. The first word, same side, based on the transversal, that means the angle should be on the same side of the transversal and inside these two lines. So if I take angle 2, the angle that is on the same side of the transversal and inside the line is 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are same side interior angles. The next pair of the same side interior angle is 8 and 3. So angle 8 and angle 3. The next one is corresponding angle. So corresponding angle means they are on the same location, on same spot. So if you look at angle 7, so the angle 7 is kind of southeast of the street. So if you think it that way, the angle 6 is southeast of the street. So angle 7 and angle 6 are corresponding angle. So I think you might have figured out one more corresponding angle. Basically, there are 4 pairs of corresponding angle. So just think about the next pair of corresponding angle. That means angle they are on the same spot. Okay, angle 1. If you take angle 1, which is the corresponding angle of 1? 1 is on the northeast. So the other line on this 3 is the northeast side, northeast. So angle 3 is the corresponding angle of angle 1. So the next 2 pairs are angle 8. That's the west side here. So 5 is on the west side. And next one is angle 2 and angle 4. Those are the pairs of corresponding angle. So the next one is alternative exterior angle. That means those angles are on the both side of the transversal line. At the same time, they should be outside, exterior of the other 2 lines. So if you take the angle on the exterior, angle 7. So let me write the answer here, angle 7. So alternative exterior, alternative, that means on the other side of the transversal, have 1 and 5. So 1 is adjacent, so we cannot have adjacent one. So angle 5 is alternative exterior of that. The other one is angle 1 and angle 4. So remember that the first word of the name, or first all those 3, the first word of the name is based on the transversal, and the second word of the name is based on the other 2 lines in which the transversal is cutting or intersecting. So we have the next set of question here. Take a moment, and I hope you can do it and then come back. Welcome back. I hope you have done it. So I need to look for the corresponding angle. So if the answer of the corresponding angle is angle 8 corresponds to angle 3, then 1 is correspond to angle 2, and 5 goes to 6 and 4 goes to 7. So angle 5 and angle 6 and angle 4 and angle 7. They are the pair of the corresponding angle. The next one is alternative interior on both sides of the transversal line and inside the parallel, inside the 2 cutting lines. So answer for 18 is angle 1 and angle 6 and angle 4 and angle 3. So same side interior, that means on the same side of the transversal line and inside that 2 lines. So answer for number 19 is angle 1 and angle 3, the first pair, and angle 4 and angle 6 is the second pair of same side interior. Next one is alternative exterior. That means on the both side of the transversal line and outside these two cutting lines. So if you take angle 8, alternative exterior of angle 8 is angle 7, and the next pair is angle 5 and angle 2. So I hope you have got all the answers correct. So let's move on to the next part of the lesson. So we are discussing about the properties of all the 4 types of angle pairs when these two lines are parallel. So here are the one. This is the first one is corresponding angle postulate. It says that if these two lines are parallel and the transversal are intersecting, the corresponding angles are congruent. So corresponding angles are congruent. If two lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. That is known as corresponding angle postulate. So here angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. Then angle 4 is congruent to 8. Okay, so if I take that other angle 3 is congruent to angle 7 and 1 is congruent to angle 5. They are the corresponding angle. So the next postulate is alternative interior angle theorem. Then they say that if two lines are parallel, the alternative interior angles are congruent. So that means angle 3 is the alternative interior angle of angle 5. So angle 5 and angle 3 will be congruent. Then angle 4 and angle 6 are congruent. So they are alternative interior, so they are congruent. The next property of those things is same side interior angle theorem. It says that if two lines are parallel, the same side interior angles are supplementary. That means if we add angle 5 and 6, they add up to 108. Sorry, angle 3 and 6 add up to 108. And angle 4 and 5 add up to 180. So that means only same side interior angles are supplementary. The next one is alternative exterior angle theorem. Say that if lines are parallel, then alternative exterior angles are congruent. That means 1 is congruent to 7. They are the alternative exterior. And also the same way, the angle 2, the alternative exterior angle is 8. So they are also congruent to each other. So when you look at that one, alternative exterior angles, they are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. And alternative interior angles are congruent. The only one thing is different is same side, they are add up to 180. They are supplementary. So look here, same side SS, they are supplementary. So it is easy to remember in that way. SS, same side. So they have, all of them have S, same side, supplementary. All of them have S. You can turn S to an 8. So like 180. So we have a couple of questions based on those theorems, that properties. So here one angle is 55. You need to identify which angle measure 55. How do we know that? So the first thing is, you already know that there's a crossing line. Angle 1 is 59 because there's a crossing line. Angle 1 and 55 are on the opposite side. So angle 1 is also 55 degree. The measure of angle 1 is 55 because they are vertical angle, are congruent. The next one, we already know that corresponding angles are congruent. So which angle is corresponding to angle 55 is, that is angle 7. So angle 7 is also 55 degree because they are corresponding angles, are congruent. So they are congruent. The next one is same side interior supplementary. We need the congruent, which is measure of 55 degree. After the alternative interior. So the alternative interior of angle 55 degrees angle phi, because they are on the other side of the transversal and interior of the parallel line. So angle 5 is also 55 degree because they are alternative interior angles. They are also congruent. So let's move on to the next question. Using the linear pairs, find the measure of angle 4. Say that using the linear pair. Linear pair means two adjacent angle, they add up to 180. So look at this picture. Here angle 4 and 55, they make a half circle. They are linear pairs. So 4 and 55 is linear pairs. So they add up to 180. So to figure out how much is angle 4, we can do 180 minus 55, that becomes 125 degree. So measure of angle 4 is 125 degree. Then we need to identify which are the other angle that is 125 degree. Obviously, we can do 4 and 2 are the vertical angle. So measure of angle 2 is also 125 because they are vertical angle, so they are congruent. Then you know the corresponding angles are congruent. So 4 and 8 is corresponding because they are on the same southwest location. They are on the same spot. So measure of angle 8 is also 125 because they are corresponding angles. And the next one is alternative interior because 4 is not interior, so we cannot use that one. Next one is alternative exterior, so they are congruent. So 4 and 6, they are alternative exterior, so the measure of angle 6 is also 125 because they are alternative exterior angles, so they are congruent. So now you have the measure of all that 8 angles. It's only given a one angle. Since the lines are parallel, so the angles are either congruent or they're added to 180. That means they are supplementary. So we can move on to the next question here. So we have some algebraic questions we have to solve for x. So when you have this type of question, first draw an angle, the arc for the angle, and identify what type of angles they are and think about the properties of that angles. So if I look at here, we are given this angle and this angle. So I need to identify what type of angles they are. So first identify which one is the transversal line. So transversal line is the line that intersect two or more lines. So this will be the transversal line. Okay. Now these two lines are parallel. Okay, those two lines are parallel and they are alternative on both sides of the transversal and outside the parallel line. So they are alternative exterior. So what is the property of alternative exterior? They are congruent. The only supplement is same side is supplement. So SSS. So here is alternate exterior, they are congruent. So we can write the formula 3x plus, equation. We can set up the equation is 4x minus 22. Then I had to solve for x. So if you have a hard time doing the algebraic equation, so I had to isolate x. It is easy to move 3x to this side. So subtract 3x from both sides. So I get minus 3x from both sides. I get 3x minus 3x is 0. 17 is equal to 4x minus 3 is 1x minus 22. To isolate x, I need to remove 22. I had to move the 22 to the other side of the equal sign. So the positive, so minus sign, so add the opposite. So 22. So I get x is equal to 39. So I have the value of x is equal to 39. So let us move on to the next question on the bottom here. So first identify the transversal. So this is the line cutting those two parallel lines. So this is the transversal line. and these two angles are given. When you look at that one, those two angles are on the same side of the transversal and inside the parallel line. So they are same side interior. They are same side interior angles. So they are supplementary. So look at S, S, S. They are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. So you can write 10x plus 8x is equal to 180. That means 18x is equal to 180. That means x is equal to divide with, combine the like terms and divide with 18, you get x is equal to 10. So here the next problem is here. I hope you can do it. First think about which one is the transversal line. So this is the transversal one. So these two angles are given. They are on the both sides of the transversal. They are alternative. And inside the parallel line, so interior. So they are alternative interior. So they are congruent. So we can set up those two angles are equal to each other. Now you solve for x. So you subtract 2x from both sides. Then add 10 on the other side. So that becomes 2x is equal to 30. That means x is equal to 50 when you solve it. Now the next question, first you need to identify the transversal line here. So this is the transversal line. These two angles are on the same side of the transversal, and one is outside and one is inside of the parallel line. So they are on the same spot, same location. So they are corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are congruent. They are congruent. So I can write 135 is equal to 2x plus 15. To solve for x, subtract 15 from both sides. You get a 120 is equal to 2x. Then divide by 2 on both sides. You get x is equal to 60. So now you have that all. You have done all these 4 questions. You have a next question. I think you may be able to do that question by yourself. Welcome back. I hope you got the answers for this question. So let's do it together. And when you look at this question, we can see that these two lines are parallel, and I can extend this line on both sides. So these two lines are parallel and this line becomes transversal. So these two lines, these two angles are same side of the transversal and inside the parallel line. So they are the same side interior angles. So same side interior angles are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. So we can set up an equation, 2x plus x minus 12 is equal to 180. Then solve for x, combine the like terms and subtract, add 12 on both sides. So you get 3x minus 12 is equal to 180. To solve for x, so first you need to add 12. That becomes 192 is equal to 3x. Then divided by 3. So 192 divided by 3 is 19. 3 goes to 8. No, sorry, is 19 go to 6 times, and 12, so 12 divided by 3 is 4, that becomes 64. So the x is equal to 64. So we can apply the same logic to figure out the value of y. Let me make it long enough here. So this line will be the transversal. They are the same side interior, so they are supplementary. So that means they add up to 180. So I can write the equation as 3y plus y plus 20y. 3y the first angle, so the 3y, plus the second angle y plus 20 is equal to 180. So I can combine the like terms. So I will get 4y plus 20 is equal to 180. So subtract 20 from both sides, you get 160. Divide with the 4, you get y is equal to 40. So you got the value for each variable. We have x is equal to 64 and y is equal to 40. So part B of this question says that find the measure of all four angles in the figure. So plug in 64 for x, that become 2 times 64, that become 128. And here the x is 64, so 64 minus 12 is 52. So that is 52 degree and 128 degree. The same idea we can plug in here. So 3 times y, so y is 40, that become 120 degree for this angle, and this is y. 40 plus 20 is 60 degree. So I hope you understand how to do this problem. So let me have another question for you. So when you do this type of problem, first you need to identify which line is the transversal line and which are the parallel line and what type of angles pairs they are, and apply the property of those angle pairs. So when you look at this question, this is the transversal line and these two lines are the parallel. This symbol shows that those are the parallel line. So we are given this angle here and this angle. So they are on the both sides of the transversal, they are alternative, and inside the parallel line, so they are alternative interior, so they are congruent. So we can set up an equation. So x plus 34, that's the first angle, equal to the second angle is 2x minus 12. Then you solve for x. So when you solve for x, you get x is equal to 46. So the question is just asked to find out the value of the x. So x is equal to 46. So move on. Just pause the video and try to do by yourself. Then you have to come back and check it how it is done. So I hope you have done this problem. So this line is cutting these two lines. So these two are the parallel lines. So this is the transversal line. So these two angles are given. So they are the same side of the transversal on the left side. So they are same side. And inside the parallel line. So they are same side interior. The property of the same side interior angles, they are supplementary. If two lines are parallel, then the same side interior angles are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. The first angle is 2x plus 42 and the second angle is x minus 24. So combine the like terms, so you will get 3x plus 18 is equal to 180. Now take a moment and solve for x. So subtract 180 minus 18, you get 162, then divided by 3, you get 54. You get x is equal to 54. I hope you got the same answer. And let's move on to the next question. And first draw the angle and identify the transversal and name what type of angle they are. So they are the same side of the transversal. One is inside the parallel line and one is outside. So they are on the same location. So they are corresponding angle. So corresponding angles are congruent. So they are congruent. So we could set up the equation 2x plus 52 is equal to 3x minus 35. So you had to solve for x. So you get x is equal to 87. So that should be the value for x. Now let's do the next question. So here is the next question. you may be confusing what type of angles they are. Then when you look at here, there is two lines are crossing each other. They are on the other opposite side of those crossing lines. So that type of angle is known as vertical angle. So they are vertical angle. So vertical angles are congruent. So I can set up the equation 3x plus 21 is equal to x plus 57. When you solve for x, you get 2x is equal to 36. That means x is equal to 18. Okay, so here is the next question. Draw the arc for both angles. These are the arc for the both angles. Now think about what type of angle space they are. They are on the same line here. They are on the same line here. And they are sharing a common side. If I draw the arc, I can draw the arc, complete arc, a semicircle. That means they are a linear pair. A linear pair. So linear pair means they are supplemented, they add up to 180. So I can set up the equation, the first angle x plus 23 plus the second angle x plus 61 is equal to 180. So I can combine the like terms, so I will get 2x plus 84 is equal to 180. Then subtract 84 from both sides, so 180 minus 84. So you get 96. Then to solve for x, you divide with the 2 on both sides. You get x is equal to 48. So those x is equal to 48 is the answer for that question. So let me have another question for you. Okay, here is the next question. So you need to find out the value of the variable. So there are more than one variable. So you need to set up a different equation to solve those variables. Okay, so we have this angle is given here. Okay, and this angle for y, and this is the parallel line, and this is the line that cutting the parallel line. That means this will be the transversal line. So these two angles are, here that you are saying corresponding angle. So what is the property of the corresponding angle? They are congruent. So I can write the equation 3x plus 5 equal to y plus 8. You may be thinking, why can't I use this two expression? Because if you look at these two angles, they are the same side of the transversal and inside the parallel. They are same side interior, so that also work. So they are same side interior. They add up to 180. So you can write 6x minus 14 is equal to 180. But in these two equations, I cannot use those two equations to solve for either for y or x, because both equations have two different type of variables. So when you have a two different type of variable, you cannot find out the value of any of the variables. So I need to look at different way to figure out an equation or value of the x or y. So look at here, I have an x term here, and here is another x expression here. So if I draw the arc for both of them, they are side by side, they are sharing the same line. So that means they are linear pair. So that means they add up to 180. So 3x plus 5 plus 6x minus 14 is equal to 180, because they are linear pairs. So combine the like terms, you get 9x minus 9 is equal to 180. To solve for x, add 9 on both sides. You get 189. Then divide by 9, you get x is equal to 21. Now I have the value of x. now you have to figure out what is the value of y. So you can choose one of the above equations. We already know what is the value of x, so we can replace the x value with the 21. So we can, let me use the first one. So 3 times 21 plus 5 is equal to y plus 8. We draw the line. So do the simplification. So 3 times 21 is 63 plus 5 is 68. So you will get 68 equal to y plus 8. To solve for y, subtract 8 from both sides. So you get y is equal to 60. So now you have value equation value for the both variables. So let me go through one more time. We could set up the equation 3 different ways. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 different ways. Okay, but at the start with, I cannot use the first, or we cannot use the first 2 equations because they have a 2 different variable. At the beginning, we don't know what is the value of any of the variables. So first, I need to use the third equation because they have only one variable, so I can solve for that variable. Here we have only x term, so when you solve it, you get x is equal to 21. Once you have the value of the one variable, you can plug in that value of that variable in one of this equation and solve for the other one. So I have another question similar to that one. It has 3 different variables. So think about how we can set up the equation. Here we can set up the equation 4 different ways. If you think about how we can connect x and this angle 3y, or expression 3y here. So this is a transversal line for that line. That's a transversal line. So they are common for both angle, and this is the parallel line. So they are the same location. So I can write x is equal to 3y because they are corresponding angle. So they are congruent. But I cannot use that equation to solve for x or y because they are 2 different variables and I don't know any of the variables value. So I had to look for another way to solve it. If I take this this 3y and 72 together, it looks like a linear pair. They are linear pairs. So I can write 72, they add up to 180. They are linear pair. So I can solve for y. You subtract 72 from both sides. I will get 3y is equal to 108. Then divided by 3, you get y is equal to 36. Now I know, or now we know the value of the y. So since we know the value of the y, you can replace the y with that 36. You will get the value of x. Or you can use, you know that this is the transversal line and this is the parallel line. These two, x and 72, are the same side interior, so they should add up to 180. So or you can write x plus 72 is equal to 180. Solve for x, so subtract 72. So they are same side interior, same side interior, so they add up to 180. You get 108 degree. Or I told at the beginning, since we know the value of the y, you can plug in y there. So y is 36. So you can write 3 times x is equal to 3 times 36. Look at here, you get the same answer. X is equal to 108 degree. Now we have the value for 2 variables. You have the third variable is z. So when you look at this one, C is on this line, so I can connect these two. So this line becomes the transversal and these are the parallel line. So they are on the same location. So I could write they are the corresponding angle. I could write 3c plus 18 is equal to x. Since we already know the value of x, we can replace that value of the x, 108. Plus 18. Now you can solve for x, or solve for z. You get z is equal to 30. Even though it have two variables, since we know the value of the x already, it doesn't make any problem. Okay, I hope you are comfortable with this type of questions, and I have one more problem like that here. So okay, let me show you that one. Okay, so these two are the parallel line, and this is the common angle for both. This is the angle, sorry, then this is the line for both angles. So think about what type of angles they are. So they are on the both sides of the transversal, so they are alternative, and inside the parallel, so they are alternative interior. They are congruent, so you can set up the equation 2x minus 40 is equal to x plus 10, and solve for x. You get x is equal to 50. So when you have this type of problems, identify the transversal, then look at which are the two pairs of parallel line and name it, and use the property of the angle to solve the problem. Here are the few last set of questions I would like to discuss with you about the parallel and transversal line. So in this question, asking you to identify the transversal line and then identify what type of angles the pairs of angles, what type of angles they are. Here the angle 10 and 14, so we need to identify which one is the transversal and what type of angle is 10 and 14. So when you identify the transversal, you know that the both angles are on the transversal, and the line that is common for both angle will be the transversal. When you draw the graph arc for the angle 10, that is here, and angle 14, that is here. So this line K is the common line for both angle 10 and 14. So the transversal line will be the line K. Line K will be the transversal line. So now the other line, this line is a distraction, so you can cover up, so we don't want that line. So this line K is the transversal line, and T and R are the cutting line, and we need to identify what type of angle 10 and 14, whether they are corresponding or same side interior or alternative interior exterior. So look at they are on the same spot, so the 10 and 14 are corresponding angle. So here is the next two more questions. So take a moment and find out what type of angles they are. The first one is the common line is the transversal. The common line for the both angle is the transversal line. I hope you have done those two questions. So let us see what type of angle pairs they are. So 10 and 4. So angle 10 is here and angle 4 is here. The common line is line R. The line R is the common line for those two angles. So the transversal line is R, line R. R is the, I don't know why I made a mistake, so L-I-N-E, I missed the E there. Line R is the transversal line. And 10 and 14, with respect to this transversal line R, so 10 and 14 is on the same side of the transversal and inside the other two lines. So they are same side interior. So they are same side interior. The next angle is angle 6 and 3. So 6 here and 3 is here. So the common line for both angles is angle M. And so the M will be the transversal, and other two lines are cutting. The transversal is cutting other two lines. So M and 6 are on the both side of the transversal. So they are alternative and exterior of the other two lines. So angle line M is the transversal line, and they are alternative exterior. So the next question here, they say that angle 3 is 95 and angle 15 is 64. So the picture is on the other side. So I have 3 is 95. So let me use angle 3 here. That is 95 degree. Then angle 15 is 64. Oh, 15 is 64 degree. So the question is asking to identify what type of angle is angle 1 with respect to the given measure, and how much is the measure of angle 1. So here I have a pair of parallel line and other two lines are there. So when you identify or when you find the measure of the angle, we should have a set of a pair of parallel lines and a transversal line. So here angle 1. So angle 1 is here. So look at here. This is a cutting. There two lines are intersecting at 95. The angle 3 and angle 1 are across. So angle 1 should be 95 degree because they are a vertical angle. Okay. So next one I need to figure out angle 9. So here is the angle 9. I cannot connect angle 9 and angle 15 because I had told you we need to find the measure of the angle. We should have a pair of parallel lines. So if I take this way, these two lines are not parallel line, and so I cannot take this as a transversal and this is a parallel line. These two alternative extra angles won't be congruent. So we need to take the pair of angles like this. Okay. Since these two lines are parallel and this becomes the transversal line, so obviously you know that 95 and angle 9 are alternative interior. They should be congruent. So make sure that when you connect the angle, there should be a pair of parallel line and a transversal. So if the lines are not parallel, we cannot do that one. So we have to have a pair of parallel lines. So these two are the pair of parallel line. So 9 is 95. So I get a 9 is 95. Reason is they are alternative interior. So I'm not writing that one. So here is angle 5. I cannot connect those two. I cannot take these two lines because these two lines are not parallel. So I need to take these two lines since the angle 5 is over here, and take this line as a transversal line. So just cover up the other one. So I need to figure out angle 5. So you already know that 5 and 15 are alternative exterior, so that becomes 64 degree. And 16, so here is angle 16. So we already know that they are side by side, they add up to 180. So to find out the 16, the measure of angle 16, we have to do 180 minus 64, that becomes 116 degree because they are linear pair. Okay. Here is the another set of angles. So already given that angle 3 is 98, here is angle 3, that is 98 degree. These two lines are parallel to each other and these two lines are parallel. So all the angles are connected. So find out the measure of angle 6. So I already told you when you find the measure of the angle, you need to take a pair of parallel line. So I can take it like this. So these two lines are parallel. Let's say that these two lines are parallel, and this is the transversal line. So angle 6 is here. So 98 and 6 is same side. So they add up to 180. So to figure out the 6, I can do 180 minus 98. That become 82 degree. So I get angle 6 is 82 degree. So next one I need to figure out angle 8. Oh, obviously that is also 82 because this angle and that angle A is vertical angle, so they should be equal to each other. That is 82 degree here. The angle 11, oh, okay, angle 11, I need to have a parallel line, so these are the parallel line. Angle 11 is here, so I can take this as a transversal line. These two angles are, yes, you are correct, they are corresponding angle, so they are congruent, 98 degree. So let's move on to the next question, number 13. Can it have a parallel line? So I have these two lines are parallel and this is the transversal then. So these two angles add up to 180 because you are right, they are same side interior. So to figure out 13, 180 minus 82, 180 minus 83, so 82, that become 98 degree. Or you already said that angle 11 is 98 degree. Since these two lines are parallel and an angle 13 is here, I take this line as a transversal line. So these two angles become same side, sorry, alternative interior, so they are also congruent to each other, so 3 should be 98, so you get the same answer. So the next question is here, that's a word problem. Park is located between two parallel streets, so this is Walker Street and James Street, those two are the parallel street, and there's a brick wall intersecting those two streets. These are the brick wall. Okay, and they intersect at a point C, so I forget to put the point C here. What is the measure of angle formed by two brick walls? So I need to figure out the angle formed by these two brick walls. So here is the angle. I need to figure out how much is the measure of that angle. So when I look at that, you can see that there is a straight line. That means all the three angles together is 180. So to make your work is I'm going to name this angle 1 and this is name angle 2. So if I add angle 1 plus angle 2 plus the angle 62 degree, that add up to 180 degree. So I need to figure out how much is the angle 1. That is my question. What is the angle between those two brick walls? So to figure out angle 1, I should know what is this angle so that I know that all of them are add up to 180. So angle 2. So here the question given at 36 here. These two lines, these two street or these two lines are parallel. Then this become the transversal line. So this angle and this angle 2 is, you are right, that is alternative interior, so they are congruent. So angle 2 become 32 degree, so that becomes 36 degree. They are alternative interior angle, so I can replace the angle 2 with the 36 degree. So plus 62 degree plus angle 1, all those three angles add up to 180. Now there is only one unknown angle, so I know the remaining two angles, so I can add those two and take away from 180. That become 98 degree plus angle 1 is equal to 180. Subtract 98 to solve for angle 1. That become 180 minus 98 is 82 degree. So the measure of angle 1 is 82 degree. That means the angle between those two brick walls is 82 degree. Now I hope you understand the different types of problems in related to the parallel and transversal line. And I hope you understand the concepts and all the questions and problems. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So watch the video 1 or 2 times and do all the problems, all the questions by yourself and master on those concepts. Thank you for watching this video.